here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk radio podcasts however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. Then Alan Gottlieb, he is the founder and the executive vice president of the Second Amendment Foundation. He's also the guy that got me started on the radio with a conversation at the SHOT Show. He says, hey, you ever done radio? I said, no. He said, you ought to try that. Well, hey, Alan, we're just about to finish 29 years on the air. Can you believe that?
No, I can't. That 29 years has gone awful fast.
Oh, hasn't it, though? But, boy, have we seen a lot of changes. I mean, right now, even given the turmoil and everything else, this is the best I have felt about gun rights, I would say, in that 29 years in terms of our future and our successes. Not that they're not hard fought and they're difficult and expensive and all of that, but we're making progress, aren't we?
Yeah, I guess I would have to join with you in the Me Too movement as well. There's no doubt that we're more on the offensive than the defense, and we're winning more battles than we're losing, and our rights are being extended and protected more so now than ever, despite the fact that we know we have a significant opposition that's extremely well-funded, well-financed, and has an awful lot of media support.
And, of course, the powers that be, which is not Joe Biden, but the people in the White House who are running him, are very much committed to stamping out gun rights in the Second Amendment. And now you have the power of the White House. They even have an office. Basically, it's the gun control office inside the White House working on this. And yet, with all of that, we're making progress. We're winning in the courts. We're actually, this most recent poll said that a majority of Americans now own guns. That's really amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure, too, that that's going to play out in the upcoming 2024 election cycle, because we have more gun owners now than ever. And once you've gone and bought your firearm, you want to defend your right to keep it.
Exactly. People say, now it's not about them, it's about us. And once you become part of the group, you're going, oh, wait, you mean I got to go do a waiting period? You mean I have to go fill out these forms? I thought I could just walk in and buy a gun, no questions asked. That's what I was always told. And now all of a sudden, a lot of people have come face to face with the restrictions on gun rights and gun ownership, and also seeing the restrictions that the gun control people are trying to put on us further. Let's do this. Let's back off and talk a little bit about, if we can decipher, what just happened in California.
Well, this is really great. The Second Amendment Foundation and some other organizations filed suit against SB 2, which was California's new law to try and circumvent the Supreme Court decision in Bruin with your right to carry. So they now have to issue permits, but they just decided to pass a law that basically said, okay, you have a permit, but it's not good anywhere. You can't use it anywhere, and everything became a so-called sensitive place. We won that court battle in district court. The state of California appealed it and asked for a stay of enforcement, and a procedural clerk of the court gave them a temporary stay until the judges on a panel of the appeals court could rule on it. They just ruled on it yesterday and said, no, the stay goes bye-bye. It's history. The law is enjoined by our preliminary injunction to the lower court. California can't enforce it, and the so-called sensitive places are null and void until a merits court panel at the appeals court level in April will actually hear it all on its merits. But the two judges that on the panel that ruled in our favor, the third judge couldn't make it, so there was only a 2-0 ruling. Those two judges basically felt that we were going to win, or they would not have, got rid of the stay. So they thought we had merit, and so I'm really excited about this. Go ahead, Tom.
I was going to say, just so to put it in a nutshell, the state passed a law that basically made all of the state a gun-free zone, even though you had a permit, because they were forced to issue the permits. They said, okay, we'll issue them, but we're just going to make the entire state a gun-free zone so you can't carry anywhere. Judge says, no, that's illegal. Actually, what he said was that's repugnant to the Second Amendment. Great phrase. Then that got stopped. Now it got put back in. So as of right now, everything is just like it was a few weeks ago. And in California, if you have your permit, you can carry all those places you could carry before. And we are very encouraged about the possible outcome of this.
That's definitely correct. And I'd like to point out this California sensitive places law was probably the restrictest one that any of the so-called heavy blue states passed to thumb their nose at the Supreme Court, and the judge took it all out. So the bottom line is that it's the best ruling we have against the worst law to boot. This is going to be very exciting for 2024.
Well, so let's talk about that. As we head into 2024, we had the Rahimi case already got argued. We'll be waiting for a decision on that. But there are a lot of other things going on. Where are you looking? Where do you think we're going to be seeing something interesting happening?
A lot of places is my answer, and I can't say which one's going to come up first because it's really hard to determine, the court calendars and how they work. But we have, with the Second Amendment Foundation alone, has 57 cases going on in the federal courts right now. 14 that were filed last year alone that will all be, coming up heavily this year, and 13 of which we won last year, many of which the states like California are appealing. 15 plus of those cases in total are all in the state of California. So the courts are going to be really, really busy in 2024, and that's where the action is really going to be. Now, I'm convinced somewhere down the line, it'll probably be in the 2025 court cycle, that we'll be looking at a magazine ban case and a so-called Sullivan ban case getting to the Supreme Court. The sensitive places laws like New York, New Jersey, California, and other places, some other places that passed, is probably going to get to the court as well. And I'm convinced that our 18 to 20-year-old young adult being able to, own, buy, or be able to get a permit to carry, that one of those cases is going to get to the Supreme Court as well.
Alan, I'm just thinking as you're talking that you talk about all these cases that are coming out of California, and there are gun owners that are not in California who probably at first blush are going, yeah, okay, that's California. We don't have that problem here. Why do I care? And I guess I would offer this, is the cases in California that you're winning allow us to take that challenge to the Supreme Court to establish the law of the land across the country, right?
That is perfectly stated, yes. And that's what our goal is to get another case to the U.S. Supreme Court to help cement our Second Amendment rights.
Last year, 2023, was the year of the Bruin Tantrum laws, where states would pass these laws, and they said, well, the Supreme Court decided this in Bruin. Oh, yeah, well, watch this. We'll pass laws that will basically undo the Bruin thing. They call it the Bruin response laws. I'm wondering if 2024 is not the year where the courts start looking at that and going, yeah, no, you can't do that. The Supreme Court said you can't do it, and now we're going to have to tell you you can't do it.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. But we're probably not going to get one of those kind of decisions like that until the 2025 cycle because it takes time to get through the courts. And I always try to caution our people to be patient. And I know, a right delayed is a right denied, but the courts move kind of slow.
I don't want to be patient, Alan.
I know you don't. Nor do any of our supporters, our members, our donors. But the bottom line is that we have to be patient because that's the way the courts work.
All right, let me ask you this. I mean, look, you and I have known Wayne LaPierre for decades and decades and decades, and he just resigned. I think it's going to be a good thing for the NRA. But in terms of the overall gun rights movement, over the last few years, the NRA has waned. It has been Wayne LaPierre. It has dropped down, and its impact has been lessened. During that time, though, the Second Amendment Foundation and a couple of other groups have really picked up the slack, especially in the courts. And I have this thought, and I want to bounce this off of you. If the NRA comes back, and we all would like to have a good, strong NRA, I would offer that we're actually going to be much stronger as a whole because the other groups like SAF have grown and strengthened. They're so much more effective. This could be a very good thing, could it not?
It could definitely. I would agree with that. I think some of the media has asked me this week on Wayne's resignation, how it's going to affect the gun rights movement in the short term, like, does this kill us all? And I tried to explain to the media that, most NRA members are also members of other gun groups as well. And the NRA's strength has always been, numbers, number of gun owners and number of activists that are engaged in defending gun rights. And, if they get the information from one group and then that group isn't giving as much information and activity as they were in the past, one of the other groups then are and picks up the slack. And, the NRA basically for the last four years or so, Tom, has really, had to buckle down with all the court battles and internal fights and everything else. And, they in a lot of ways, they unfortunately are a shell of what they were. But all the other gun groups picked up the slack, and we didn't get hurt by any of this. And a lot of the anti-gun media, all jumping up and down about this is great. The gun rights movement is now going to be dead. That's so far from the truth. It isn't funny.
Right. No, exactly. All right. I got a minute left here, Alan. If you're going to tell people anything else to look for or to be aware of or get involved in this coming year, what would it be?
The election cycle, 2024. I mean, all the marbles on the table again. Joe Biden has already put in more justices on the courts in the federal court system than Donald Trump was able to do. Another 4 years of anti-gun Democrats and some of these court victories we've been achieving could get wiped away. So the election cycle is critical.
There you go. And it's just, I don't care who it is, you're going to have to look at it that way. Even if you don't like them, if they help us on our cause, that's what we have to do. Alan Gottlieb, thank you so much, and congratulations on the success of Second Amendment Foundation. Thank you for everything you do, my friend.